Hello and welcome back to another session here on GTax, your German tax advisory. Today we're going to talk about how and when you have to pay taxes in Germany, especially on the 183-day rules and the another worldwide income rule. So when do we have to pay taxes in Germany and what do you have to know about it? So the first thing is how German is on the tax residency and how is it defined. So normally it's like if you are a so-called tax resident in Germany, then you have a permanent home here in Germany and it's called Wohnsitz. And this means if you're living permanent in Germany, then you have to pay taxes. In this point is also important that is your center of your vital interest is in Germany. That says you're not just here for a few days and then you're abroad and then you're here and your family is living abroad, but you're just working here. There are some different points you have to know, but especially is if your center special of interest is in Germany, like your family, your hobbies, your soccer team or something like this, then you have to pay taxes in Germany. So it's also important that the residency applies also if you're not German citizenship, so you're US American or you're British or you're an Indian, then also you have to pay tax in Germany. It's not on your passport, it's just where you stay and where you live, like where your physical appearance is. Then it's also important then if you're in Germany and you're longer time in Germany, then it triggers back to the first day of your stay in Germany. If you're not like working and then you're abroad and then working back and then you're also then a longer time in Germany, then it comes your permanent home. Then you have to tax in Germany at this point where you say, okay, now I'm living here. Though this is a little bit of complication here because normally your residency can be triggered from the first day of your stay under certain conditions. The second point you have to know is there's the so-called 183-day rule. This 183-day rule says if you're more than 183 days in Germany in a calendar year, then you're generally a tax resident in Germany. That doesn't mean in this case that you have to be in one case, you have holidays, for example, at your state where you're born or something like this. This means 183 days in 1 year, calendar year, and then you are here taxable in Germany. So it means that short business trips or vacations outside Germany are still included. And this is the special point. And still, if you're under 183 days in Germany, for example, you're always abroad or something like this, this is no problem at all because your trigger is your residency where you live. It's your Wohnsitz, it's your home. And if you have a key to resident in Germany, then you are in this case taxable. The next point is the consequences. The consequences of being a German tax resident is you have to pay taxes on all of your income worldwide, not just your German earnings. This is especially problematic for foreign salary, rental income, investments, and also crypto gains you have in another country. That means, for especially if you have something like in Austria or in Swiss or in America, like a rental income, then it can be taxable in Germany, but there are so-called double income treaties which say, perhaps they will be taxed in Germany, some not. This is for every country of the world. There are mostly some of these treaties. In the next case is you're here taxable with your whole income, your worldwide income, and you have also declare all overseas bank accounts and assets in every country on the world. That means if you have a bank account in the USA, then you have to declare it in the German status and tax income and all of this. Because This is the important point. It's so-called world income, and Germany does not apply on your citizenship. It applies on your income and your status where you are. If you're for example, a non-resident taxation in Germany, it's very important because if you have some incomes from Germany and it's like you have a rental in Germany and you rent it, then you especially have to tax these incomes in Germany, but not abroad where you come from. This is included employment, rental income, or everything else like business activities or something like this has to be taxed in Germany. This is for non-resident taxation in Germany, and this is very important because the non-resident taxation in Germany means you have no access to the full basic tax-free allowance of 12,069 euros in 2025, for example. So this might be a real problem. In Germany, it's called beschränkte Steuerpflicht. In this case, this is also for the people who say, okay, I moved to Germany, I will live here, but I have some income from abroad. There are so-called residency and double taxation agreements, short DTAs, and Germany has so-called DTAs with over 90 countries to prevent being taxed twice. That means the double treaty agreement says, hey, is there in any case a taxation, for example, in the USA or in Britain or in India or in China or something like this? And if it's taxed there, then Germany says, okay, we perhaps don't want to look at it, or we say, okay, we include it in our tax calculations, but we don't tax it directly. There are some specialties and so-called tiebreaker rules for determining residency, for example, or something like the 183-day rule, or foreign pensions. If you're, for example, you moved here in your pension time, or investments or something like this, there's also cleared, okay, you have to pay it. Taxes in Germany, you have to pay taxes in Austria, you have to pay taxes somewhere else, and this is, for example, very important. In this case, I can say the German tax residency rules are easy to understand. If you live here, for example, a whole year, then you have to pay taxes here in Germany. If you don't live here in Germany, you don't have to pay taxes here in Germany. But under some circumstances, it might be that you have to pay taxes on incomes you get out of Germany. For example, you're an Indian, Chinese, you're a US citizen, you're a British, you're a Spanish citizen, but you have income coming out of Germany, then it might be possible that you have to pay taxes also in Germany. For this case, it's important to just check in the first case, am I needed to do a tax declaration or something like this in Germany? If not, then you can say, okay, all my income is taxed outside. If I'm longer than 183 days in Germany, then I have to pay tax in Germany, and then I have, most situations, I can do a tax declaration here in Germany and get, for example, a tax return from the taxes you have paid. All this might be a chance, but for example, longer than 183 days in Germany, then you have to pay taxes in Germany. So what's your opinion on this status? Just keep it up in the comments.